A very warm welcome to the 2017 Darley Stallion Parade.
The great Dubawi. Here he is then, ladies and gents, the best stallion in the land and one of the very best anywhere in the world. Here are some statistics: 30 individual Group or Grade 1 winners. A better ratio of winners, stakes winners and group winners than Galileo at a comparable stage of their careers. 16% stakes winners to runners, and get this, 10% group winners to runners, figures that make him truly world class, as if you needed me to tell you. And another juicy statistic as he establishes a Dubawi dynasty of his own here at Darley. He was quicker to be the grandsire of a Group or Grade 1 winner than Danehill, quicker even than Northern Dancer. And so far this year, he is the grandsire of 3 classic winners. The history-making, breed-shaping, quite extraordinary Dubawi. Postponed, who is owned by Sheikh Mohammed Obeid. And he's the horse who was rated the best in the world at 1.5 miles last year. He started off in Dubai, where he broke that track record in the Shima Classic, beating 6 individual Group or Grade 1 winners, including that mighty horse Highland Reel. Back here in Europe, that defining, exceptional, thrilling victory in what was called the Queen Elizabeth II Coronation Cup. Back down in distance to 10 furlongs for the Juddmonte International, the result was the same, and Timeform assessed this as his best performance. He retires rated 130, that magic 130 by Timeform, the best horse trained in Britain or Ireland last season, and the best that Dubawi has sired at more than a mile. He was very good at 2, at 3 he was 3rd in the Craven, and just like Darley's future classic sire Cape Cross before he won the Great Voltager. Exceed and excel, ladies and gents. He's on top of the world standings as the best sire of juvenile winners and juvenile stakes winners. His total of 2-year-old black type earners stands at 130, after the Windsor Castle Stakes at Ascot. Exceed and excel. He sired 10 2-year-olds to have won or been placed at Royal Ascot since 2008. He's also the winner of the TBA's Barleythorpe Cup as the leading British-based sire by individual winners for the last 2 seasons. And what an impact he's made on both continents. And what a legacy he's leaving as well. And Darley now has 5 sons of Exceed and Excel on its European roster, led by the outstanding young stallion Helmet. He's founding a sire line all of his own. He is Exceed and Excel by Danehill out of the Lomond mare Patrona. He's been a real star, and you've supported him incredibly generously. This is the power-packed swagger of the champion sprinter Slade Power. Back near the scene of his greatest triumph in the July Cup, assessed at the time as the best sprinting performance here on Newmarket's July course since Oasis Dream back in 2003. He's been assessed as the best horse from the Machiavellian sire line since the outstanding Street Cry. And what a stallion he turned out to be. Recent racing history tells that the very best sprinters can turn into the best of stallions. And some of the best judges amongst you have sent him mares and bought his offspring. And this time next year, we'll be standing here talking about his first 2-year-olds. We'll be getting very excited indeed. He is the horse by Dutch out of Girl Power. He is Slade Power, ladies and gentlemen. Is Buratino. Buratino, who's just completed a popular first season at Kildangan Stud. He won the Coventry Stakes really well. He beat the champion 2-year-old. He's by a sire of sires, and he's from the family of Danehill Dancer, who, incidentally, he was rated superior to, would you believe it? And he'd won, if you remember, on the very first day of the juvenile season for trainer Mark Johnston, and he'd taken in the Woodcut, which at the time retained its listed status, in a very, very busy spring. But he thrived on his racing. The rest of his year was spent exclusively in Group 1 company, with excellent runs in the Phoenix Stakes and the Middle Park. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the best European 2-year-old by Exceed and Excel. Buratino covered a huge book in Ireland, including siblings to Goldacova and Kylaki. You can see how relaxed he is and how he's taking in these new surroundings very comfortably. He is Farhh. He's the best horse ever, ladies and gents, sired by Pivotal. As you know, he's had a few fertility issues, this fella, but he's got almost 70% of his mares in foal this year, so he's a horse now that you at least can confidently consider using. And what a mighty impressive racehorse he was. Fast, determined, and with an awesome, relentless stride. Never out of the first three, unbeaten at 2 and again at 3. Second to Frankel twice at 4, then unbeaten again at 5. He finished his racing career winning the Champion Stakes. His first foals averaged 6 times his current fee. His yearlings made up to 170,000. They're off to a winning start as well. Farhh, ladies and gentlemen. So admirable on the racecourse and off to a very promising start at stud. Here is Epaulette. 24 of his first yearlings sold, all for in excess of €50,000 from a fee of just 7.5. He's a 3-parts brother to the young sire success Helmet, who you will see later on. And Epaulette's stock are already among the winners, and there's lots to look forward to in the second half of the season. He was one of the best, of course, in a golden generation down under. He was some 3-year-old. He ran second to Black Caviar in one of the top sprint races in Australia, and he won the Doomben 10,000 as a 3-year-old. He got off the mark with a decent winner at Maison Lafitte in April. Chucky Dunedin won and went on to run with credit in the Coventry. And Richard Farh's York debutant winner, International Man, looks one to follow. He is the 126 rated Danehill line Australian sprinter by commands, out of accessories. Ladies and gents, he is Epaulette. He is New Approach. Unbeaten European champion at 2, beaten a nose in the Guineas. He won the Derby, and then he won the Champion Stakes in a record time. He's doing great things as a stallion New Approach as well. And those brilliant victories earned him some great mares. Names like Blue Bunting and Dancing Rain, the Oaks winner, Nar Rain, Lyric of Light, Sajar, to name but a few of the Godolphin mares. And that crop, his 6th crop, are just getting to the track now as 2-year-olds. So he could have some really exciting late-season juvenile prospects this time round. And he already has Massar, ran really well in the Chesham at Royal Ascot, and Timeform rated him the equal of the Coventry winner. He's got some really handy 3-year-olds as well, including Strathspey, who sprouted wings to win a competitive 1.5 mile Group 2 in France a week or so ago. He's only a 3-year-old, ladies and gents, but he's all man. This is the Last Lion. After his Group 1 Middle Park victory last autumn, he was rated the equal of Caravaggio and Churchill as the joint best 2-year-old colt in Europe. He was expertly handled by Mark Johnston. He went from a Brocklesby victory on day 1 of the season all the way through to the Middle Park. 10 races in total. He never missed a gig. He never once was out of the frame. And the last Middle Park winner to retire at 2, I'm sure you need no reminding, was Dark Angel. And what a hugely influential stallion he's become. And this horse was rated superior to Dark Angel on the track by Choisir, also the sire of Star Spangled Banner. So he's got the speed and precocity in his pedigree. It is all there in his genes. Sepoy, Aussie champion 2-year-old, best Aussie juvenile since the 70s, and world champion sprinter at 3. From his first 2 crops, 18 yearlings made more than 100 grand, and his second crop, Breeze Up horses, made up to 270,000 guineas earlier this year. His first crop, 3-year-olds this season, include 5 stakes winners, including the German classic winner Unforgettable Filly. Another early star by Sepoy is the John Gosden-trained Dabia, close up 3rd in the Group 1 Prix Marcel Boussac on Arc Day, and the very easy winner of the 1,000 guineas trial at Newbury, the Fred Darling Stakes. Sepoy, by the speed influence and record breaker elusive quality out of a Danehill mare, he's transmitting a huge amount of quality to his first winners. Night of Thunder, he won the race rated by Timeform as the best running of the 2,000 guineas since Brigadier Gerard beat Mill Reef, would you believe it? 8 Group 1 winners were behind him. Kingman, Australia, Charm Spirits. A stakes winner at 2, this horse for Richard Hannon. He trained on to win the Group 1 Lockinge at 4. So you've got classic ability, ladies and gents. You've got speed, you've got precocity, you've got battling resolve. He's quite some package. He covered another big, strong book at Kildangan Stud, and he's been popular in Australia as well. You could have expected him to be, since the 2000 Guineas has proved over time to be the world's #1 sire-making classic. Night of Thunder won the finest running in the last 4 decades. He is Territories. Territories, ladies and gents. He's the best horse in his family since Shamadal and Street Cry, 2 pretty smart names. They've gone on to become influential and outstanding stallions. And plenty of you are backing this horse, Territories, to follow suit. He was trained in France by André Farhh, and as a 2-year-old he won a Group 3 at Longchamp before running 2nd in the Group 1 Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère, and he was very unlucky in the run that day. He was an elite miler at 3. He beat Allbar Glen Eagles in the 2000 Guineas. He's completed his first season here at Dalham Hall, where he covered over 140 mares. And of that tally, 4 out of 5 were either stakes winners or dams or siblings of stakes winners, close relatives of Twice Over, Stasolita, Pivotal, Monterosso, and Erupt, amongst others. It's the majestic Hallowed Crown, ladies and gents, the best miler of his generation in Australia. He was an undefeated group winner over sprint distances at 2. He extended his unbeaten run into Group and Grade 1 company, taking the 7-furlong Golden Rose Stakes at 3. And he went on again in the 1-mile Group 1 Randwick Guineas, meeting a fine bunch of 3-year-olds. Hallowed Crown, ladies and gents, is by Street Sense, who made history by becoming the first horse ever to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and then go on to take the first leg of the Triple Crown, the Kentucky Derby. And his dam, who is by Dane Hill, was 2nd in the world's richest 2-year-old race, the Golden Slipper. With a first book of 113 mares, including close relatives of Blue Bunting, of Cockney Rebel, of Golden Mix, of Lock Angel, there's no reason why Hallowed Crown can't become a pretty famous name up here, as he already is in his homeland. Charming thought then, ladies and gents. He was a top-class 2-year-old by Oasis Dream, and he was rated higher than Showcasing, the best stallion son of Oasis Dream so far. He was an exceptional juvenile, and after victories at Lingfield and Leicester, he lined up in the Middle Park in a select field, all the best sprinting juveniles of his year put to the sword. You've supported him really well, ladies and gents. Some of the mares who visit him include Daughters of Lady Carla, the Oaks winner, Blue Duster, the Cheveley Park winner, siblings to the Temple Stakes heroine Airwave, to Kissing Cousin, the Coronation Stakes winner, and to Tradestorm, that hugely redoubtable international campaigner. Charming thought then, ladies and gents. And if precocious speed is your game and that's the way you breed racehorses, then he's going to be pretty high on your shortlist. The small matter of the Dante, the Derby, the Eclipse, the Irish Champion Stakes, the Arc de Triomphe. This is Golden Horn, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he's one of the very best. He was Horse of the Year, and he was rated superior to any turf performer anywhere in the world. On his only start at 2, he broke a track record. He did the same in the Field and Stakes on his 3-year-old debut. He is and was a brilliant natural talent. He's really stamping his first crop foals with that distinctive look, and they're a beautifully bred bunch. Amongst the outstanding mares he covered, 68 were closely related to Group 1 winners either through themselves or their dams or their siblings, and that year, 2016, 2017, that number rose to 70. Ladies and gentlemen, Golden Horn. The magnificent Teofilo, ladies and gentlemen. Undefeated European champion at 2, and now firmly established as an exceptional sire of classic stock. Since his first 3-year-olds raced in 2012, more horses by Teofilo have won or been placed in a British or Irish Classic than the stock of any other stallion except his own legendary father, Galileo. Teofilo can absolutely now lay claim to being the best and most successful stallion son by Galileo. And this year's classic crop is headed by Permian, a colt who embodies that tough battling quality. He's a great sale stallion too, with a 2016 yearling average of €122,000 for 29 sold. His 5.1% group winners to runners is identical to Oasis Dream, and behind only Galileo, Dubawi and Shamadar. Raven's Pass, the fastest 7 furlongs at Sandown ever run by a 2-year-old. There was that great battle with Henry the Navigator for the QE2. What about that glorious day at Santa Anita, when he ran a huge time in the Breeders' Cup Classic? He's consistently pleased breeders, producing stakes winners at a great clip. He's been on the side of the breeder in the sales ring, where his lifetime yearling average is €125,000. His latest 3-year-olds have been doing well again this year. Via Ravenna. Another name for you to watch out for, ladies and gentlemen, is Big Duke, bred in Ireland, where he raced under the name Swashbuckling. He's been a revelation since he transferred to Australia, where he's won 3 group races in his last 4 starts. Then there's Ella's Ruby, who you'll be familiar with, another stakes-winning 3-year-old who was placed in a Group 2 last weekend. A ball of pure muscle. This is Brazen Beau. Champion sprinter at 3, which is a rare enough accolade in itself, but one he shares with 2 other Darley stallions, Exceed and Excel and Sepoy. He is the best horse sired by young Australian phenomenon I Am Invincible, whose latest yearlings have sold so incredibly well down under. Brazen Beau, the best male descendant of Invincible Spirit after Kingman, and hailing from that green desert lineage, famous for his explosively fast performers. He retired as the best sprinter from this line since Oasis Dream, and he also comes from the family of top stallion Night Shift. 127 rated, 127, very good rating for a sprinter by Timeform, with his first foals at the sales later this year. He's fast company, ladies and gents. He was brought on the roster here at Darley following a sensational weekend at the Curragh in May last year. He's had 6 stakes winners in 2017. Another one of his daughters, Penny Pepper, winning the Group 3 Ballyogan Stakes at the Curragh. Now, he had a brief stint shuttling to Chile, this horse, and his first crop there includes no fewer than 3 Grade 1 2-year-olds, and he's the leading first crop sire in Chile, an accolade shared in his day by a certain Scat Daddy. And quite interestingly, this horse, Fast Company, has sired exactly as many group and stakes winners as Scat Daddy at the same point in time with his first crop. He's the highest rated juvenile ever from the Danehill line. He is, ladies and gentlemen, Fast Company. He's Dawn Approach. He was the undefeated European champion at 2. Still unbeaten when winning the Guineas at 3. He was still at the top of the tree in the St James's Palace, rated his best ever performance midway through his 3-year-old campaign. And that was his second Royal Ascot win after his Coventry success over Olympic Glory & Co the previous year. His yearlings averaged €110,000 for 42 sold last year, and his early runners include the highly rated stakes performer Haddaf. He was placed then in the listed national stakes when still a maiden, and there are plenty more where he came from. Now, Timeform rate this horse Dawn Approach the equal of his brilliant sire New Approach. And he represents the fastest, most brilliant branch of that Sadler's Wells line. Helmet. He is the Australian powerhouse and already a proven classic sire. And this horse has quickly developed into a potentially pretty formidable stallion. If you tot up his 2017 stakes wins, he leads all second crop stallions, a group which includes 1 or 2 quite big names like Frankel. His star first crop son is that ultra tough Thunder Snow, who's had an extraordinary campaign, winning the 1 mile Group 1 Prix Jean Prat. And Muchacho won the Group 3 Italian Guineas. Other top first crop performers include Sheikh Hamdan's classy stakes winners Tarmol and Ektiran, and his second crop has started really well with 8 2-year-old winners by the start of Royal Ascot, a number no other British stallion could top. He's a star of the future and perhaps a worthy heir to his sire, Exceed and Excel. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. We'll see you back here next year.